Welcome to Section 3 of the Science of Writing course. This section uses the three-sentence paragraph to teach you the basic four elements of any paragraph. When first learning how to spell, you first learn the letters of the alphabet, and then you learn to spell words like me, and, the, and so on. Soon after, you were able to move on to much bigger words. Imagine, however, if instead of starting with letters and short words, your teacher skipped these basics and insisted you first master spelling such words as anti-disestablishmentarianism. I doubt you would get far with your spelling. Just as you need to start with the basics when learning to spell, you also have to start with the basics when learning to write. The basic building block in writing is not the multi-page paper. It is the paragraph. You can learn writing in the same way that you would view a complex technical problem. You have to break a problem this big into smaller components. Then you solve each of these smaller components. Eventually, once you solve all the smaller puzzles, you have the answer to the overall problem. In our case, the overall problem is the paper. The smaller components are the paragraphs. Once you learn how to construct a cohesive paragraph, then you can easily put together a unified paper, thesis, dissertation, or other document. Learning this fundamental tool will quickly open the whole world of writing to you. The reason is that all the core elements you use to write a long paper are present in every paragraph. Because of this chapter will focus on teaching you how to write the paragraph. In fact, you will start with one of the simplest paragraphs possible, the three-sentence paragraph. This may seem insultingly easy, but it is in fact crucial that you start here. It will keep you from missing the forest for the trees, which commonly happens when you start by writing multi-page papers. The three-sentence paragraph is complex enough to include all the key writing elements, and yet simple enough to allow you to hone the basics of the logical essay without distraction. Before jumping too far into the three-sentence paragraph, let's cover the basics. The basics of the logical essay are comprised of two core components. These two components appear in one form or another in all good writing, and they are the building blocks for a solid argument. The first core component is the stages of the essay. The stages are the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. These work together to orient the reader, that is, introducing the reader to the argument, to reason with the reader, that is, the main body of the argument, and then to give the reader closure, that is, concluding the argument. The introduction and conclusion frame the body, which is the main argument, by opening the question and then concluding it with the final answer. The second core component, which complements the first, is logical progression, or logical flow of thought. Within a paragraph, logical progression forms a smooth transition between adjacent sentences. Where there are multiple paragraphs, logical progression forms a smooth transition between adjacent paragraphs. In all cases, the body naturally follows the introduction, and the conclusion will be a logical outcome of the body. Without a logical progression of thought, the introduction will appear to come from nowhere and will not truly orient the reader. The argument in the body will not make sense. The conclusion will appear forced and not as a natural outcome of the main argument. The result is a disastrous piece of writing that frustrates the reader. Thus, logical progression is essential to cohesive writing and needs to be practiced from the beginning. Which brings us back to the three-sentence paragraph.